Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series stars. It's always a joy to see you here again. If you love heartfelt, real-life moments from the lives of your favorite stars, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone who needs a tender story today. Now, let's step quietly into an intimate chapter that surprised an entire fandom and stirred up a wave of emotion across the country. For fans of Özge Yağız, the news felt like a pause in time. Only hours before she was expected to give birth, the actress made a sudden, deeply personal decision. She shifted plans and asked for an emergency C-section. It wasn't a step she had imagined herself taking, and that's exactly what drew so much attention from followers and the media alike, because on a day that was supposed to be all anticipation, happiness, and calm, everything transformed into a delicate braid of fear, strength, and raw feeling. Just a few days earlier, Özge had checked into a private hospital in Istanbul with the quiet readiness of someone who had spent months preparing. The room was arranged with care and soft light, with gentle colors chosen to soothe, bouquets lining the sill from friends who were buzzing with joy, and message after message of support arriving from fans. They wrote long notes and short blessings, cozy little lines they'd been saving for months, using the same loving phrase over and over, welcoming the little star before he had even opened his eyes. Özge had often spoken about her wish to give birth naturally. She wanted to be present in every breath of it, to feel the experience with awareness and intention. But sometimes life redraws the script without asking, and you find yourself listening to a different rhythm than you planned. According to medical staff, labor began late at night and moved forward in small, hesitant steps. The hours stretched thin and quiet. Doctors started to notice the signs of strain, tired muscles, fraying focus, emotions tugged to the edge. Her blood pressure wavered. The baby's heartbeat showed tiny variations that made the monitors feel too loud. The team reassured her that things were still under control. Yet, even within those carefully professional sentences, the room was holding its breath. Someone close to the couple later shared that Özge tried to stay calm for as long as she could. She had prepared herself for this day in every way she knew how, guided breathing, meditation, soft music floating through the air, but the progress simply refused to match her hope. The distance between expectation and reality grew, and eventually something inside her gave way. Witnesses felt the moment when the emotion could no longer be swallowed. Özge's eyes filled, her voice trembled, and she asked, no, pleaded, for a C-section. It wasn't a defeat. It was a decision born from an exhausted body and a mind doing its very best to keep faith. It was also, as the doctors later said, a brave choice. One of them spoke gently afterward, reflecting on the turmoil of that long night. They had known how much she wanted a natural birth, how she had dreamed it frame by frame, but they reminded everyone listening that emotional well-being doesn't sit behind physical health, it stands right beside it. In the hush before the operation, Özge spoke words that traveled far beyond that room. She didn't want her baby to arrive through the sound of her suffering. She wanted the first thing he heard to be the calm in her voice, not a cry from exhaustion. Those words, so simple and so clear, would soon be repeated by fans across the country. The procedure went smoothly. In that bright, focused space, time narrowed to a single purpose. And then, a newborn cry threaded its way through the room and changed everything. The baby was healthy. Özge, drained but luminous in a way only new mothers understand, heard that first little voice, and relief broke through her like daylight. She reached out to touch his face with a trembling hand, tears gathering, and she whispered his name like a promise. Outside those doors, debates were already beginning. Some praised her for choosing peace and safety over the weight of expectation. Others, less kind, insisted she had abandoned a plan she had sworn to keep. But those who truly knew her stepped forward to speak, saying this was a thoughtful, loving, and informed decision. One friend captured it with disarming simplicity. Özge didn't want the story of her child's arrival to be shaped by pain or fear. Birth was sacred for her. And when the path curved, she chose a different way that still honored her strength. In the days that followed, she stayed away from social media. No statements, no polished posts, just quiet time to heal and to learn the contours of a new life. She and her baby moved in a small circle of soft mornings and quieter nights, skin to skin, heartbeat to heartbeat. Then, when the noise outside had softened, she shared a single message that spread like warm light. For months, she wrote, she had imagined a perfect birth. But life had reminded her that perfection doesn't exist. What mattered wasn't the method, but that her son arrived safely, and that she had found the courage to listen to him and to herself. She attached a black and white photo of a tiny hand resting in her palm. Within hours, it was everywhere. Fans, women, parents, and people who simply recognized a fragile truth in those words wrote back with love. That image, so small and quiet, collected millions of likes and thousands of comments, becoming a gathering place for tenderness. Television programs and newspapers devoted segments to the decision and what it meant. Experts weighed in, insisting that no woman should feel locked into a single way of giving birth. The world loves a script, but bodies aren't scripts, they are stories unfolding in real time. A journalist wrote that real empowerment isn't about proving something to others, it's about choosing what is right for you without apology. Messages from the acting community poured in as well. Her close friend Han Ursel posted a note of admiration, saying that love sometimes means taking the hardest path, and he found her courage beautiful. And through all of it, one person remained a steady lighthouse, Gökberk Demirci. According to those who were there, he barely left her side over the 3 days she stayed in the hospital with family and close friends drifting in and out. He handled calls, fielded questions, smiled when he could, and tried not to let his own worry show on his face. There was a quiet moment, someone said, when it all ended and the room exhaled, Gökberk cried. Not from fear anymore, but from pure relief. The baby's name hasn't been shared yet, and the mystery has become its own kind of celebration. Fans have begun to call him a symbol of new beginnings in Özge's life, a turning of a page written with care by two people who know how to hold each other through a storm. In a later reflection, Özge said something that felt like the heart of it all: real strength is not about control. It's about trusting life, trusting your body, and trusting your instincts. And that trust, imperfect, brave, honest, transformed her birth story into something larger than a single night in a hospital. It became a lesson in courage, love, and acceptance. We live in a world quick to judge women for their choices, particularly choices tied to their bodies and their motherhood. But in this moment, Özge showed that sometimes strength is the willingness to let go of the plan you curated so carefully, to choose what is right for you and for your child, even if it looks different from what the world expected. What began as a hard, emotional morning turned into an unexpected lesson in self-compassion and grace. Later, when someone asked her how it felt to hold her baby for the first time, she smiled in that effortless way that fans know so well and said, "It wasn't the birth I planned, but it was the birth we needed." In that sentence, there was a lifetime of wisdom. And in the soft, steady presence of Gökberk at her side, there was the quiet proof of a love that knows how to be strong without making noise. With this calm resolve, Özge Yağız reminded everyone that motherhood isn't a contest in perfection. It is a practice in love, in bravery, and in peace. The story doesn't erase the tears, the fear, or the difficult hours. Instead, it holds them, honors them, and lets them lead towards something gentler. That is why this chapter resonates so deeply. It is not just a story about delivery rooms and medical decisions. It is about the hushed courage to pivot, the tenderness to listen inward, and the devotion of two people learning to be parents in real time. As you think about their night, those small sounds, those heavy pauses, the clasp of one hand in another, remember that so many of the most important decisions are the ones we never expected to make. The beauty is not in staying perfectly on script, but in the faithful way you rewrite your lines when the scene changes. Thank you for watching and for spending this moment with us here at Turkish Series Stars. If this touched you, subscribe for more stories like this, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that strength can be soft, and love can be quiet and profound. We'll see you in the next one.